Hi, my name is Nathan Polizzi, and for my project, I wanted to do an organization that caters to individuals who also tend to struggle from mental health disorders like anxiety, depression, PTSD, whatever it may be, because I feel like this is a market that is neither captured by the for profit sector or the public sector. And I feel like this is an important demographic of people that is often glossed over. So I not have only struggled with this these types of issues my entire adult life, but I also know quite a few people who have as well. And it's been such a large issue that it's impacted them living their daily lives. To get our name out there, we would have representatives go to schools and offices to raise awareness. Of course, in the beginning, our money would be very limited, so we would have to do whatever we could to accrue donors and raise money. But once we got members, the membership fees would help go towards the daily running of the organization. Um, and to attract younger demographics, we would try to put our name out there through social media. Maybe to get like an older demographic, we would do things such as send recruits to like retirement homes, put ads in newspapers, and as we grew, of course, those ads would get bigger and more extravagant. But I'm assuming before we can do any of that, we need to make sure that we have a solid donor base. So first, we would have to spread ourselves through word of mouth. Um, but as I said earlier, most of our members would have to pay membership fees once we establish ourselves as an organization. The membership fees annually would be about $200, and we would have an organization made up of mostly volunteers because we would be an internet based nonprofit. So our volunteers would be seasonal, and and in the event of us holding conferences to discuss issues related to this particular organization, such as um things in the mental health world. There may be people with disabilities, and our board members, of course, would have experience with these disabled individuals, or if not, a mental health background. And of course, our volunteers would have to have some kind of background as well, and their values would have to align with our mission. The deadlines would be relatively flexible for the volunteers, but of course, they would be expected to meet deadlines for certain projects, especially when it comes to those conferences, because those are the biggest way we would spread our the awareness of our organization. As an infant, as a company, as an organization in our infancy, we would try to have partnerships with other, or we would try to have collaborations with other like-minded organizations. And as we grew, we might decide to partner up with companies like KFC or otherwise to help spread our message, and maybe see if they would be willing to donate a percentage of their proceeds to our organization. But of course, as I stated before, if we are to partner with an organization or another organization or company, their values would have to align with ours. My organization and its executive leadership the executive leadership. There would be an executive director and board members. The executive director would be appointed based on their skill set and their background with the disabled, and the board members would be voted in once a year, and they would serve three-year consecutive terms. The executive director will take responsibility for any negative press the organization may receive. The executive director must be approved by the board of members. The executive director will also be in charge of creating the budget, but it must be approved by the board. Hiring staff is the responsibility of the executive director. I would have a I would have a board of directors. I would have board members who all have experience in the field of mental health. Each member must share a common passion for spreading awareness and knowledge of mental health issues and people suffering with disabilities. And together, the executive director and the board members would establish bylaws. One of the bylaws would be an indemnification clause, so any legal trouble that an individual working for the organization has to deal with while doing business for the organization will be covered, and they won't have to worry about legal expenses. Other bylaw Thank you for listening.